We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about how to schedule your days successfully.
All right, bring it. Go for it.
Full disclosure, this is one of my favorite topics, and here's why. Not because I love to live in my calendar, but I love to make money.
Oh.
And this is the only way I know how to actually run a crew and make money and sleep at night, quite honestly.
I thought you were going to say I love to make fun of Jill.
No, I don't want to. Jill's amazingly good at this. She doesn't realize it, but we'll make fun of her in a minute.
I mean, I do on the big stuff. Maybe the little stuff I kind of slack on. But remember, I have my reasons why. We've talked about that.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free. And if you're already a member, please join us on Discord.
Sandy wrote, I just joined Land Academy a couple months ago. Honestly, I have stuck with my mailing procedure. I have I stuck with my mailing procedure instead of starting from scratch with offers to owners. I'm curious what her old procedure was. I hope it wasn't handwriting letters with the family at dining room.
There's a reason this made it into.
Okay, good. I'm excited to see what this is. Okay, Sandy, here we go. Unfortunately, I received an email today that states I have to send my mailers first class. Oh, that's funny.
It is hilarious.
Here come the questions. Number 1, is it standard practice to send first class?
Not at all.
Number 2, does O2O require that offers be sent first class?
Heck no.
Number 3, how many people send first class versus standard?
Very, very few, if that.
4, other than the obvious price difference, has anyone tested to see if there are any other differences, i.e. performance, ease of mailing, etc.? ?
If you're
Thanks
over 80,
so much for any help you can give, Sandy. Sorry.
If you're over 80, this matters.
I don't think it matters.
If you're over 80 and you're receiving a letter and I don't even look at how it's stamped ever. I mean, none of us do.
No, we don't.
First class is something that happened like in World War II. Mm-hmm. And I'm not exaggerating. No, all of this, and then it goes on. Everybody had some stuff to say about this because, and me included actually, and if you want to see it all,
stamps?
It's either he or she, we don't know. Mm-hmm. And no, they were using click-to-mail. And so click-to-mail is it's not even a competitor, but it's another way you can send mail for twice as much money.
Yeah.
And it's very popular with non-members of Land Academy, and everybody changes over. And even Sandy now goes on to say at the bottom of the string, it was too long for me to include in this.
But Sandy said, I get it.
So click-to-mail went into this whole thing about, they sent it to all their people saying, if you're sending this and this, and here's the regulations from the post office, and they cited it all. And
How sneaky.
Our people.
It's like sneaky, making you think you have to do that.
Our other members just jumped right in and took screenshots of how this is all fiction. Wow. So, look, I don't want to blow my own horn here, but I am for a second. Our horn. O2O rocks. O2O is set up to do this. If you're going to send out, if you own a pizza place, use click-to-mail to send out a mailer.
Like
if
postcards or something?
Or whatever, anything. Colored stuff, all of that. Colored mailers, for colored bleed mailers. If you're sending offers to owners, this is the place to do it.
Right.
This is what we specialize in. This is all we do. Leave it at that. It's a ludicrous. There's so many silly. Jill and I started offers to owners because of stuff like this, because we got sick of it. We send out millions of letters before O2O.
And the expense.
Yeah.
The ease and the expense and setup fees and rigmarole. And that's not cool.
You get feed to death. There's no fees with O2O. I'm not going to make this a commercial, but.
No, but.
If you already send mail out,
Yeah. So let me back up. And the only difference I would think that someone would really consider sending first class mail is maybe they want to try to get it there faster. And you know what? I don't think that matters.
I don't either.
It's really going to be days, not weeks of a difference, number one. And number two, so what? Your first mailer goes out, it takes 2 weeks to hit instead of 1. Do I care? No.
I agree,
Because
Jill.
once you get, because the cost saving is what's important here. And that 2 weeks that you're gonna, if you do it right and you set up yourself in a system, you only have that 2-week waiting period one time, because now you're in a system. So you know that every 2 weeks this hits and then this hits and you have it consistent, right? So you never have a lag. And that first 2 weeks, big flipping deal. That's when you make sure your phone works, your spreadsheets are set up. You maybe start doing some recon about, wow, if this comes back and it looks great. I've already got brokers that I'm going to kind of run this by. I've already pre-asked some questions to the county, so I know how this goes. You know, whatever it is, you use that time wisely, and then you don't think about it.
Just about every mistake that a person can make sending mail out offers to owners to buy real estate, I've made it.
Yep, we've done that.
And this is the 25 years of mistakes results of how it works. And every single time, or every, let's say, monthly slot of people that join Land Academy, there's 2 or 3 that say, I don't believe you, and I'm going to do it this way. And they always, then they come back, come back and say, yeah, I guess that's how you do it. Mailer yield, like getting a couple more offers, or a couple more signed purchase agreements out of a 3,000 or 4,000 unit mailer, is an obsession with some people.
I understand that.
Which leads me into the topic today.
Okay.
Today's topic, how to schedule your days successfully. This is the meat of the show. If you want to succeed at this, you got to set goals, and you have to set time frame milestones, and you have to follow through on them. Man, I sound like your father. And I know.
That's
I know
true.
I do. And I know this is not the best, most favorite topic for a lot of people, but I can say this with confidence. All the people, with very, very, very few exceptions, in the advanced group, live and die by their calendar, not only with their land company, but in most cases with their engineering jobs or their other companies that they own. That's the only way to get anything done. So this is how I do it. Picture a triangle on its nose, an equal triangle on its nose, or a funnel, like in the kitchen, where you're funneling something into a small liquid into a smaller hole, or like a motor oil, filling motor oil with a funnel. At the top is all these big picture goals that you have and what you want to accomplish. And as you move down the funnel, as the liquid moves down the funnel, you want to achieve that singular goal, which for new people should be getting that first deal purchased. That's the hardest part. Once you get that first deal purchased and then sold, you're either going to love this or you're going to hate it, or you're going to see the light. You know, it happened to me. I purchased and sold my first property quickly, and probably, it was looked like a big, huge train wreck mess, but it was profitable. And then that was it. For some reason, I knew that I wanted to do that for the rest of my life. So you need to get a calendar. This is all in the education, by the way, but we don't write these topics anymore. Our customer service people do, so people must be asking about it.
Mm-hmm. I have some questions to ask you when you get your first point across. I have follow-up stuff.
Okay, good. So my first point is just about ending. Start with the end. If you really want to purchase a piece of property for less than half of its existing value and its existing condition, if that's the bottom of your funnel, then work all the way back, piece by piece by piece, and don't rush through this. There's nothing fast or easy about Land Academy. Our sales, we have one salesperson, and he's like, "Oh, there, you said stuff again that's going to make my job harder." This is not fast or easy. There's a huge learning curve to it, and it's very brainy. At least getting that first piece of property purchased is. So without going into all the details of do this, because that's very personal. It ends with buying a piece of real estate for half, and it starts at the big top of the funnel with education and learning from other people, which if you're listening to the show, you're at the top of the funnel.
Our team would like you to please speak on how you get your inbox to zero, and then how you use your email, your scheduling system with your emails.
Right. So, this is self-taught. I don't know why I started doing this. Started doing it about 2 or 3 years ago. I see a lot of people, maybe some people on the stage with me, use their inbox and it equals their to-do list. So something will come in or a phone call will come in. They stop what they're doing and then they deal with the phone call or they deal with the thing that popped into their inbox and they do it. And that's the fastest way to fail at anything.
That's very true. You can't do that. We don't do that. You have to schedule it out.
You have to schedule
have dedicated time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Schedule your whole, all the tasks that you need, including like hiring people. If you're too bogged down and you can't answer your own phone, which I understand, then you got to then schedule some time to hire Pat Live or whoever you use to answer your phone. And anytime that something comes in to that inbox, what I do is that I'll in the morning, I go through it all. Actually, I do this 2 or 3 times a day when I have gaps of time.
Perfect. I want to ask questions about this. So it's not like 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m.
It's like that.
Okay. But it's not in the calendar that way. It's you do first thing in the morning, midday, and whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's in the calendar.
No, okay. That's what I'm asking. All right.
Clear out your inbox is in my calendar 3 times a day.
Okay, cool.
Actually, it's rolled into, I do a bunch of stuff before 9. One of the things is clean out your inbox. It's not scheduled in the middle of the day. I just naturally do it. And then at the end of the day, I have a bunch of day end activities that I do, which is clean out my mailbox. So unless it's like something's on fire, and even then, if something's in there that like I get right now, Jill and I are doing all of our estate planning. So if I get an email, for example, from the lawyers that are asking me questions or clarifying stuff, I don't answer it. What I do is I schedule it to be answered the next day or whenever it's appropriate.
That's the tip. I want to touch on that for just a second. So and that's a good tip, and that's how I do it too. Like, and I even copy. You could either you could in an email schedule it in 365, or depending what email system you have, you could just copy and paste or highlight whatever. Put the meat of that into an invite on your calendar, and then you delete the email. That's the whole point, is get the email down, have it on your calendar, and you don't stress about it. You don't have to think about it. You know it's going to get done, and you have you know it's going to get done. You know when it's going to get done because it's scheduled, and you have all the information that you need to do that.
This is part of what I was going to talk about today, and I'm glad you brought it up. This takes all the stress out of my life. I was a stressed out mess in college because I didn't have a system like this. I didn't know what to study for or when. I was always behind. I was always running around mess to get to classes or to get to the library or get textbooks or whatever. And
sounds like a normal guy thing at that age.
I failed at it.
It's a normal guy thing, right? You had to learn.
I didn't literally fail, but I got out of there okay. But so no, you learn stuff the hard way. And then when you get a job, here's the thing that I really want to make this clear. Because you get out of school and you get a job and then somebody else has a calendar for you. And if you work for a huge company like Jill did right out of the chute, they're telling you where to stand and what to say and how to do it. They're training you. So you get real lazy. As an entrepreneur, you need to make a schedule and you need to stick to it harder than you did when you were employed.
You know what's funny? I have something to share when you're done.
Yeah.
So I started out that way and then I ended that way. Because before I had like a job with a time clock, basically, I had all the freedom to do what I wanted. And I used to carry, because my dad taught me, the spiral daily calendar things. He carried one. So I started carrying one. I always had a calendar. And then I went it was before cell phones. It was a little like a sharp flip up calendar thing.
Yeah,
it was a little extra electronic thing. It wasn't Franklin Covey. No,
too.
It was sharp or something like that.
It's called a daily planner
or something. But it was a little thing that you could put in your purse, and it was only there was no color involved. It was the one color. It was it was a really cool thing. It didn't interact with anything, but it was electronic, and I could use it and put notes in there. So I started doing that. I've always been very minutely calendar focus detailed. I just have relaxed it over the years to a point that it makes you uncomfortable, but it still works for me.
No, I think now you're Johnny on the spot.
Okay, good.
I think that when Jill got let out of her cage from her W-2 job and we joined forces.
I got really comfortable a little bit. For the beginning, that's true, because I needed a little downtime.
Oh, I understand. I completely understand.
It's like someone people that sell a company and they hold themselves up in Mexico in a hotel penthouse for a year. It was kind of like that, but not like that. Like I can afford to, like Brockmire, I can afford to take a little break there and catch my breath.
Well, speaking of breaks,
what?
This is literally what Jill and I do. We schedule our breaks. And so sometimes we have whole days where we're not going to do anything, and we, without guilt, go have a rip-roaring blast, because I know everything's going to be scheduled or is scheduled. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do on Monday morning, and if I can take Monday afternoon off with no guilt. Yep. You have to schedule everything. And in the beginning, I would schedule every single tiny little thing. Mm-hmm. If you're going to work out for 20 minutes in the morning, schedule it, and then do it and mark it off and give yourself a reward, some reward.
I know Land Academy members, I love this, that are huge fishermen, for example, and they're only doing like one deal a month, one big deal a month. And it's like hunting week or fishing week or every Friday, every Thursday and Friday, whatever it is, they schedule it out.
Drinking week.
And I love it. Okay, that might be you. Do you do that?
No.
Okay.
If I do, it's with you.
Okay, that's true. It's awesome.
So, and this leads me to my final point. So great, Jack, how do you do it? I cannot say enough positive stuff about Microsoft 365. And I think that if you're in the beginning of your career, or even in the middle and you're not using it, I urge you to take a look at it. And here's why. It will grow with you. There's different levels and subscriptions. There's no upfront cost. The initial subscription's free. We get nothing, by the way. We're not like we're paid anything. Yeah. We're not affiliates or anything. I wish we were. You can build an empire on Microsoft 365 with limitless employees. And all the access levels are, you can lock it down. You can launch websites from it. You can take it. We probably use 3% of what it's capable of. That's true. It ties to everything. So every employee around the world, and it's universal. You talk to somebody in the Philippines and ask them to use Microsoft 365, they're going to say, oh yeah, I don't need any training on that. I know exactly how to do it. Google Drive is a go-to free tool for kindergartners. And Microsoft 355 is for people who want a career. And you want to give, for instance, I was the administrator and set it all up. At some point, I stopped being the administrator and we hired somebody. And then she became the administrator, Erin, in our office. And so I didn't have to any longer, and then she managed it. And there's nothing really to manage. It's a file sharing system. It's everything that you could want to run a land business. And it costs, you pay by employee, so you can completely control it. It's totally affordable. Jill's right. We don't get, there's no money for this that we get. It's cool. And it loops you into Outlook. Yep. Cool. Which we all have used at one point. People have tried to create a better product and not succeeded. So we not only talked about everything, our scheduling and our tips, but what we use. So if you're not set up now, I don't know what to say. I will not leave my desk at the end of the day, at the end of a work day, with anything in my inbox, in my voicemail, or any missed calls that aren't rescheduled. Those three things. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us right here on the Land Academy Show. Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called Career Path, What We've Learned. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. That was awesome. You covered a lot. You covered way more than was asked of you. So I think that was really beneficial. I'm sure it was beneficial. So thank you. If you need access to any sort of ownership or property details, including owner phone numbers and FEMA flood map overlays, check out neighborscoop.com or parcelfact.com, created by investors, that's us, for investors like you. We're Steve and Jill. Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property. We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button. And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.